you ever had a really awkward moment where you run into a person and know their face but can't remember their name?
Yeah.
If you're like me, then you're terrible with names. I know I forget someone's name within 10 seconds of meeting them, and it's kind of embarrassing. If I don't know someone's name, then I most likely won't approach that person again when they could be a potential important person in my life. This is why remembering names can be a useful part of networking, and with these techniques that I have learned, you'll be able to easily put faces together with names. Everyone knows that networking with other people requires you to remember names. You will never know when you'll encounter that person again, and if you don't remember their name, it makes things awkward and you give off a very bad first impression. In order to avoid this, it's good to follow the easy rules of CAR. Commit to remembering a person's name, concentrate on what the person's saying, and remember the first time they say their name. Associate the person's name with an image or memory, and use repetition to imprint the person's name in your brain. Other useful tips to remember are to try your best to remember where you first met this person at. Was it at a park, at a school, or maybe the movies? Once you find out where your first encounter was, then it really helps jog your memory when you run into them again. Another thing you can try out is when you first meet a person and they tell you their name, ask them to spell it for you. It may be a little weird, but it works. Even if the person's name is Sam, just ask them to spell it out, and if you get a weird reaction, then simply say you thought they said some other name that sounds familiar. When meeting a possible client or someone of a higher power that can pave the way for your career, or just someone that can help you out, always ask for a business card. No good can come from not getting contact information from people, and it always has their name across the front in big letters, so you can always see their name if you forget, but just remember what they look like. Associating someone you've just met with a celebrity is another technique that will surely help you remember someone's name. It may seem weird, but you can just always think in your head that you just met Taylor Swift at the movies, and presto, you at least remember the person's first name. Someone who knows that they are bad with names and always assumes they will not remember someone's name will most likely be right about themselves and forget things. You can't go meeting new people assuming you'll forget their names. Change your attitude and be positive about the whole situation. Going into a conversation with the right attitude can only help you in remembering someone's name. Focusing on your introduction can also make things worse for you throughout the whole conversation. If you're only focused on yourself and the things you do, then you most likely will forget about the person entirely. Remember to be polite and to always make eye contact. This can make the conversation more engaging, and if you focus your attention on the other person, then you'll make a great conversation, which will help you remember their name and everything you talked about, since it was a good experience. Going out of your way to find someone's name is a more forward approach that works for those in desperate need of memorization practice. If you take the person aside and introduce yourself, then you'll remember how you went out of your way for that particular person, and it'll make an impression in your mind to remember that person's face and name. It may sound weird, but if you just pay attention to a person's facial features when they tell you their name, then there's a trick you can do. Dramatize their features and make a memorable connection with the person and their name. The more crazy and absurd the connection is, then the easier it'll be to remember the person's name. Remembering someone's name is something that we've all had trouble with at least once in our life. And with these techniques, there's surely something for everyone. Whether you want to try something funny with connecting a person's name to a celebrity or following the steps of CR, then things can only go up when it comes to memorizing someone's name.